Hey there friends, I have a new slow flow class for you today, and if you've taken any of my classes before, you know that I'm a big fan of using yoga blocks, hither and yon, for lots of things. I'm definitely going to use mine more for just a helping kind of prop in a few different places. It's up to you what you do, but you may want to have something handy just in case. This particular practice is going to focus a good bit on some foot and ankle stuff. So if you've got anything going on in that area, just, like with anything, listen to your body. If it's talking in that way that it can talk, right? And do what you need to do to take care of yourself. All right, so we're going to start on hands and knees with cat-cow plus. So, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, table. As we inhale, we'll tuck the toes and drop the belly, cow. And then we'll exhale, put the tops of the feet down best we can and round up. And then on this next inhale, I'm going to keep more of a rounded back as I sit toward a child's pose, but popping up to fingertips and giving a firm press into the fingertips to feel a little activation through the shoulders. And then I'm going to come back up through a neutral table with toes tucked and lift the knees to bear position or hovering table, whatever you want to call that. And then lower down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Yeah, get the hang of it. Let's keep going. And it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% coordinated with the breathing, but sometimes that can feel soothing and nice. So go for it if you like. One last round. Okay, after that last hovering table, just come back down to your regular table. From here, let's reach the left arm forward, trying to stay stable through the opposite side. And then let's reach that arm out to the left. Did I say the right arm? I can't remember which one I said. It doesn't matter, we'll do both sides. Rotate so that your palm faces up. And then we're gonna take that hand behind the back and let the back of the hand rest behind your back. We got one hand tied behind our back. We're gonna keep that, and I've got my right hand down, so I'm gonna roll over to that side and step the left foot back for a knee down side plank kind of position. With that hand behind my back, I'm gonna let my head kind of drop toward the mat, feel a little neck stretch. And then I'm gonna take this arm behind my back, kind of reverse that rotation I did from table, reaching it back out and up. And then I'm gonna add a little overhead reach for more side stretch, and you can accentuate that as much as you like. And then I'm gonna reach back up and rotate that arm again behind my back and see if I can, with some semblance of control, return back down to my table-based position. And then I will again reverse that arm movement back and down. Okay, switching sides. Again, I can't remember which one I said the first time, so make sure that you switch sides. Reach it forward and out. Rotate so the palm faces up, and then start to reach the arm back, bending the elbow, resting the back of your hand on your lower back somewhere, keeping that, and we'll roll toward that hand down side for that knee down side plank sort of variation. Take a moment Let your head drop for some neck stretch. And then keeping that position, you're going to take that arm behind the back and start to reach it up and over. Add some good length down that side. I love a good side stretch. And I'll take the arm back up and back, rotating it, taking it back behind my back. And then lowering back down to that base position, and then reversing that arm rotation back, forward, and down to table. All right, from here, I'm gonna tuck the toes and push into, well, a toe tuck, for lack of a better name. And we're gonna move in between toe tuck with hands down and into down dog, back and forth. Lifting up, lowering down. Right, I'm pushing with my hands the whole time. And it might take a little bit of adjustment to figure out exactly where stuff needs to be. You are allowed to change it up as needed. My legs are getting warm. Last one in down dog, and we'll pause there and acclimate, wiggle, shake anything out. That means a little shake. All right. Let's walk it forward to the top of the mat-ish into just a nice, easy forward fold. Feet about hip width or so, maybe a little swaying. Knees can bend however much you like. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to keep a slight bend in my knees. I'm going to roll slowly up. And then when I come up, I'm going to let my hands kind of support the lower back by coming back behind me to find just a little tiny bit of extension through the spine. And then I'll kind of roll back down to that fold, rounding down. And then I'll do 2 or 3 more-ish, just kind of ragdolling, letting the spine move, not overthinking. And after coming down this time, planted hands and stepping back into plank pose. And in plank, we're gonna make sure those feet are all the way back. We're gonna do a little bit of kind of circling to get into the wrists a little bit more, pushing with the feet. We'll just do a few in one direction and then switch. Okay, and then from centered plank, lower to your belly. Release the toes. All right, let's roll the shoulders back and do some baby cobras. Nice and easy for the back. Not pushing too far. Next time we're up, let's stay up. And then from here, we'll keep that height and bring the elbows forward to come into Sphinx. And this is one of the few Sphinxes we'll do in class today. This time around from Sphinx, let's do some shoulder rolling. So nice big circles. You can maybe tell how other stuff comes along with that and how that feels. Change directions. Okay, and then from our shoulders down, more upright Sphinx position. Let's see if we can get those hands back near the chest, and push up into plank, and then down dog. All right. From here, I'm going to bend my right knee a lot. And then keeping that knee bent, I'm going to do just a couple of really slow circles with that leg, moving from the hip joint. Trying not to move other things best I can. Just one in each direction. Slowly, slowly. All right, and then bringing things forward and stepping through for a low lunge. All right, so from here, first thing we're gonna try, and you can have your left hand on the block just to make a little bit more space if you felt like you wanted more space. What we're gonna do is work this right leg in the hip area into more rotation. So from just the normal lunge position, gonna let things kind of roll open, roll to the outer edge of the foot, and then come back to quote unquote normal centered, back and forth. One more. All right, from here, we are going to go into like a cat tuck in our lunge. And then from here, move into more of an extended spine-ish. And then let's walk things back and get the front leg straight with the toes lifted. And then we'll take the left hand and kind of reach outside that foot and see what we feel. And then we'll bring that hand back in and put the toes down, still with the hips back. And then let's lunge back forward, and we'll do that little sequence a few times. Coming forward, doing that sort of rounded position, and then more extended-ish. Shifting back with a flexed foot, reaching outside. That feels interesting, all right? Coming out of that outside reach, but staying back and pointing the toes and putting them down, and then walking it back forward. Let's do one more round, rounding and extending, shifting back with a flexed foot, reaching outside that foot, reaching back inside and putting the toes down, and walking it back forward. From here, I'm gonna let myself kind of walk more upright, and my lunge is upright is manageable. And then I'm gonna work the back leg a bit by lifting, not the knee, but the foot. Pointed toes, maybe, and then back down a few times. And my hamstrings always talk a whole lot for this. Flexed foot or pointed toes. See if that makes a difference for you. Pointed toes feels a little bit more challenging for me. Let's do one more. All right, and then from here, let's go ahead and lift the back knee and take it up to more of a high lunge. Kind of get out of that hamstring area a little bit. From here, let's reach both arms up and interlace fingers with index fingers pointed up. Nice long line from hips up through the fingers, and then a little bit of circling with the upper body. Trying to stay balanced, and that lunge is a little tricky. Change directions. And the next time you're coming back, let that kind of lead you into a slight bit more of extension. And then lift up and plant your hands and step into plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, or to your belly. If you went to your belly, maybe baby cobra, maybe up dog, maybe both. Exhale, down dog. Okay. Bending the left knee a bunch, lifting that foot. Couple of really slow circles, just one in each direction, but slow, slow, slow. Moving from the hip joint, trying to work all the way around it. Trying not to move other things. If you've beaten me, you need to go a little slower. I love you. Step forward. Take your back knee down. Maybe you want to block for your right hand just to make a little bit more space. All right, back toes can be under or not, doesn't matter. All right, we'll let that left leg roll open and then take it back straight ahead. Back and forth. Okay, and then with hands down in our low lunge, we'll go into our sort of cat tuck and then into extension or toward that direction. Shifting back with a flexed foot, straightish leg, reach outside, feeling some interesting things. Right, take that hand back in and put the toes down, feel some things, and lunge back forward. Round, extend-ish, shift back and flex, reach outside, reach inside, toes down. Walk it back forward. Last round. Rounding, extending, shifting back, flex, reach outside. Hand inside, toes down, and walk it back forward, and then walk it upright. All right, let's see what that other side has to say for the back leg. Lifting and lowering. And you can try pointed or flex and see if that makes a difference in how it feels. All kinds of muscle cramps perhaps in the hammies or the calves too. All right, and then we'll take that up to a high lunge. Give that back leg a little bit of relief. Reaching up, finding our little Charlie's Angels hand position up top. And again with the circling, trying to keep things in one piece as we circle. Both directions. And this time as we come back, let's let it maybe go a little further back if it feels okay. And lift up and plant the hands, stepping into plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, or to your belly. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Okay, let's step up to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, let's just take arms down or maybe put hands on hips. Gonna do a little dynamic sequence here, again, kind of going back and forth between positions. Okay, so we're gonna stand on the right foot. Lifting the left knee up. Right, try not to let your spine change or your pelvis change. And then from here, we'll lower the leg and kind of point the toes behind us a little bit and then put like the big toe down and push into it just a smidge. And then we'll tilt forward and kind of fall down into standing splits. And then do a little, kind of like a little squat, rounding your back and kind of reaching down. And then back to splits. And then we'll see if we can come back up to our sort of pointed toe, stretchy position, and then knee back up. Let's do a couple more. Pointed toe, push into the foot. Start to lift the foot and fold, taking hands down at the bottom into standing splits-ish. Curl down into a ball, draw that knee into your chest. Reach back up. See if you can lift your hands. Maybe a block is helping with that, right? Coming back all the way up to that pointed toe stretch. And then lifting the knee. All right, this time around we'll take it into something else. We'll start the same. All right, lowering down into our splits. Going into our little kind of squat position, rounding down, and then I'm gonna set my left leg just kind of down beside the right foot. Leaning forward a bit to feel some Achilles lower calf stretch in that right leg. All right, so I'm gonna lift back up just a smidge, and then I'm gonna let this left leg shift back, and I'm gonna walk back to a pistol squat if possible, right? So you could grab your right foot for help. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this into a toe stand variation, coming up onto the ball of the left foot and crossing that over into figure four. And I'm not crazy, so I used my hands for help. I mean, I'm a little bit crazy because that was hard regardless. Maybe try lifting your hands or not. Balance is a challenge. All right, I'm gonna uncross that right leg and step it back forward. You can let this knee come down. From here, right hand out to the right. I'm gonna lift up into a half moon sugar cane variation, just for a little bit of more opening, and I don't know, it feels a little bit nicer and stretchier after all that stuff. All right, I'm gonna extend that leg, so regular half moon, and then I'm gonna reach this top arm overhead and start to bend the right knee, and I'm gonna try to land in side angle, or, you know, kind of get there after landing. Straightening up into triangle. Bending the knee and reaching up into reverse warrior. And warrior two right in the middle. Oh, goodness. Hands down, step into plank. Inhale. Controlled lower on the exhale. Back bend of your choice as you inhale. Down dog, exhale. All right. That was one side. That was, I think, the hardest sequence of this particular class, so there's that. Let's step it back forward to the top of the mats. Do my block over. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, releasing the arms to mountain pose. Maybe hands on hips, switching sides. Right knee lifts, try to keep the pelvis where it is, more neutral. And then we'll lower the leg and point the toes and just kind of step it back a smidge and give the foot a little press. From here, lifting the leg and tilting down, getting into standing splits eventually. Splits is in quotation marks for me. And then bend both knees and curl down into that little squat variation. From here, reach back up, and then we'll try lifting back up to that pointed toe stretch, and then bring that knee forward. All right, this is the second time. We'll do 3. Curl down, reach back up to splits, try to lift, maybe a block is helpful. Back up to that pointed toe stretch with the foot just a little bit back. Bring that knee back up. Last round, and then we'll take it somewhere else. Lift the leg and lower down to splits. Take it down to that little squat variation. And then we'll set that right leg down, knee down, foot down, kind of right beside that left foot for this sort of, that's not really a pose, it's just a stretch. Keep that heel down, push it down if you have to. All right, I'm gonna let this right leg lift and step back and then start to shift back to maybe find my pistol squats, lowering the heel, hang onto the foot as needed. And then I'm gonna lift the right heel to try to find my toe stand, sort of figure 4 cross. With or without using hands for help, of course. Uncrossing, stepping forward, letting that back knee go down, and then find your left hand out to the left and push up into that half moon sugar cane. Grab your foot. And just don't worry so much about how it looks. Let it feel nice and stretchy and more open after all that stuff. Let's let go of that foot and reach the foot back. Half moon. Reach forward through that overhead arm. Start to bend that left knee and let's try to find side angle from there. All right, landing, adjusting the left arm. Straighten up into triangle. Bend the knee, reach up and back. Reverse warrior. And up to warrior 2, right in the middle. Windmill the hands down. Step into plank, inhale. Exhale, control your lower. Inhale, a back bend. Exhale, down dog. Okay, we're gonna do that same hip circling and down dog that we did earlier, but take it somewhere different this time. So, right knee bends a lot, foot lifts. Just one in each direction, nice and slow, trying to keep other things nice and stable. All right, and then instead of stepping the foot forward, we're gonna bring that knee forward and then face the left side of your mat and transition down to your seat. So you should have kind of ended up like so for a little side bend practice from here. One leg, left leg is out wide, right knee is bent and over to the right. Let's take that right hand behind the head. Slide your left hand down inside that left leg and do a side bend. And then from there, that top elbow reaches down toward the mat. And then reach back up, come upright. Take your left hand down, press into it, lift the hips and sweep the left arm up. And then lower down, and we'll do a couple more rounds. We'll side bend, add some rotation down. Reach up, sit all the way up. Take your hand down and sweep it up. Lower down. Hand to the head, side bend. Add a little rotation. Reach up. Hand down, sweep up. Lower down. Side bend. Elbow reaches down. Reach up. Sit up tall. Take your hand down, lift the hips and sweep up. From here, push into that right hand a little bit more. Take that bottom leg and extend it out to the left and reach up into fallen triangle. We're gonna see if we can keep that right leg out to the left as we send the rest of the body into more of like a plank position. It's weird, I know. And then let's lift that right leg and send it into a pigeon position. There. Ta-da! Oh heavens, I'm gonna use this block for a pillow. You can use any prop you like. Make sure that things feel reasonable in your knees and your hips. And breathe. from here, let's get to where the forearms are planted out in front of us. So now we can step into a forearm plank. Okay. And then I'm going to let my right hand come toward the left elbow, and then I'll move that arm out of the way as I roll up into a forearm side plank. And then roll back down to forearm plank. And then switching sides. After lowering back down to forearm plank, lower to Sphinx. All right. You may have been wondering, you said we were going to do multiple Sphinxes, and oh, it was time, right? Okay, this time in our Sphinx, let's do some neck rolls. Lower your chin down and start to move things around in a big circle. Feel free to linger in any spots that feel nicer for you. And do a couple in each direction. Okay. And then from our Sphinx position here, we're going to try a couple of different things. So I'm going to move my elbows forward a little bit, and it may take a little adjustment for me and for you just to kind of figure out where things need to be placed. So I'm going to come up to like a fingertip seal by lifting the elbows, and then I'll lower down, and then I'm going to let my legs lift as I reach the arms forward into a locust variation, and then feet down, and then come back up to that fingertip seal, nice and slow. Lower down, let the legs lift and hands reach forward. Let's do a couple more. Okay, and then just lower everything and wiggle the hips and rest and breathe. We're almost done. Let's take it to down dog. Okay, left knee bends, that foot lifts. Slow circle in one direction. Really slow. Go slower. Slower than that. And then switch directions. Okay, and after coming back forward again, we're going to bring the knee forward and then turn to the right. And I'm sorry I'm not facing the camera now, but you get to see how it looks from the back side. All right, so we're in sort of a right leg out wide, left knee bent, sort of side bend setup. All right, left hand behind the head, right hand's down inside. Take a little side bend. All right, and then we'll reach that top elbow down for the bend, and back up, sliding up out of the side bend. Taking that left hand down, pressing the hips up and sweeping up and over, and lower the hips back down to seated. Again, hand behind the head, slide down, elbow reaches down, and up. Come up out of the side bend, plant the left hand, sweep up. Lower down. Hand to head, side bend, reach down, reach up, come upright, hand down, lift, and lower. We'll do one more and add on. Reach, elbow goes down, elbow goes up, lift up, hand down, press up. And then leg out to the right, all in triangle. Try to keep that leg out to the right. Try to find everything else plank-like for a moment. And then draw that leg over for pigeon. Oh, goodness. Almost there. All right. get yourself set up in your preferred pigeon setup, and we'll take a little break here. All right, from here again, we're gonna step into forearm plank. So get to where your arms are planted out in front of you and step into it. Again, let's start to kind of pivot the right hand to the left and roll over to that side plank. And back down, and to the left. And back down. And then the up Sphinx. Isn't it nice? Especially after that work. Okay, so this time from Sphinx, we've done shoulder rolls, we've done neck rolls, and some other stuff. And we're gonna try this time around, just because we can, a little bit of side bending and reaching. So I'm gonna take my right hand and kind of reach forward and over to the left, and I'm bending on my left side, and come back to Sphinx. And then take it over to the right. And back, and let's do a few more. Sneaky core work, actually. I can feel those obliques talking. Last round. Okay, and then we're gonna basically do the same thing we did before, which was fingertip seal into arms forward locust. However, if you wanted to make it more playful, you could make it more like a seesaw, kind of rocking. And you don't have to, you can still go slowly. Last one. And lowering and resting and wiggling. Let's set the right arm out to the right in a cactus or goalpost shape, and then roll to that side for a little shoulder pec area stretch. And let's try that to the left. Back down to our bellies, and then let's press into a nice child's pose from here. And you can do whichever child's pose variation feels right for you for the time being. I'm going to take it somewhere else in just a moment, and I'll direct accordingly. But for this first few breaths, make it your own, make it restful, make it soft. Breathe. Okay, so if you were in a wide-legged child's pose position with your knees wider than your feet, let's bring things a little closer in. So we're a little bit more closer together with the legs, hip width-ish or so, just for what's to come. So from here, I'm gonna reach my right hand toward the back of the mat, and I'm gonna reach the left arm forward and over to the right for a little side bend in that child's pose. I'm up on fingertips so I can give a push and feel some activation through the forward arm, armpit area. Okay, from here, I'm gonna keep my right hand back and kind of lift up into sort of a side bendy, back bendy, seated position. And then I'm gonna take that into more of a camel twist as I press the hips up. And then I'll lower the hips back down and lower back into my child's pose reach. And then I'll walk that through center and over to the left. Left hand is reaching back. Right arm is reaching forward and over to the right. Fingertips pushing. All right, and then I'll lift up and kind of reach back. And then let that press me up into something more camel-like. Lower the hips. And then reach back into that child's pose side reach. And then back to center. Let's take a breath. Okay. Let's come on up from here and come into a wide-legged seated position. And you can turn whichever way you want on your mat. I'm going to use a block in just a moment. To start, it might feel nice to roll your ankles. We asked a lot of that area for some of that stuff, so a little ankle rolling might be needed. Okay. And then from here, let's cross arms at the chest, doesn't matter which one's on top. And we're gonna do a little bit of movement for sort of like mid-back up by doing a little bit of circling. So think down and over and back and around. And the head obviously is attached, so it's coming along, but it's not necessarily moving on its own. Change directions. Okay, and then from here, doesn't matter which one you start with because we'll do both. Let's try an eagle wrap. And depending on your body, you know, the block may or may not be helpful, but we're gonna reach into more of a wide-legged fold with eagle arms position with elbows down on the block. And I'm feeling a nice shoulder stretch here. You might kind of press your arms forward a little bit. Okay, and then we'll lift up and switch that eagle wrap and take it back down. And then we'll release the arms all together and just kind of take a moment in this full position, make it more relaxed, maybe put your head on the block. Okay, let's come on up from there and set that block aside, and we'll sit forward with the legs, and we're going to do some roll downs, which, you know, generally I kind of think of as a core exercise, which it is, but we're also moving the spine, rolling the spine. So see if you can kind of feel the different positions as you go. So you can do a little reach forward and then up and down, rounding as you roll down. All right, and then try to keep things a little bit more neutral as you reach overhead. And then once your arms come up, if you want to extend a little bit more, get more stretchy, that works. And then push down toward the mat as you reach back up and try to lift up. And we'll try a few more.
I'm gonna go up one more time.
And down one last time.
After coming down, I'm gonna keep arms overhead and scooch toward the right for banana, making a line down side bend. You are welcome to experiment with ankles crossed, elbows can bend if that feels better, and you could do either ankle on top. Let's take some nice, slow, deep breaths here. Okay, let's take that over to the other side for banana. Scooch over to the left. And then let's get back to center and have a little rest. And I'm gonna lie flat in Shavasana, but you do not have to. And just find any position that feels restful for you. You could lie on your side or keep your knees bent, right with your feet down, whatever feels best and most relaxing. Closing your eyes, letting everything soften. Letting your breath return to a natural state and letting yourself rest. Start to deepen the breath and wiggle fingers and toes. Circle wrist and ankles. And let's give those knees a hug in toward the chest and a rock from side to side. Rolling over to one side, resting there. And pressing up to a comfortable seat. All right, just take a moment here to let yourself settle and to notice how things are feeling after that challenging practice. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Have a great day.